What's going on, everyone? It's Mike, it's John back again, and this is your debrief show. Leeds 1, Everton nil. Um, People watched my match reaction last night, John. So let's just go straight over to you, mate. Off you go. Floor's
Yeah,
yours.
do you know what? I mean, the performance hurt more than anything. Listen, no one's happy with a defeat, but it's the manner of the defeat and whether it was a penalty or not. As I said to you before, that's by the by. If it's a penalty, if it's not a penalty, not really asked at this point. It's the performance for me. Now, I said to you before, people had a go at us in the comments in pre-season when we were doing videos saying, it's pre-season, it doesn't matter, it's all about fitness, results don't matter. Well, I'm sorry, but it does matter, and we've seen how much it mattered with that performance last night, because the performance last night, in my opinion, has carried on from pre-season. I think the manager massively got it wrong. I don't think there was any players on that pitch who I would rate more than a 4. It took us an hour to get our first corner. We had 2 corners in the game, I think I'm right in saying. And the only shot we had was a P-roller. So for me, it's the manner of the performance more than getting beat by a dubious penalty. There was so much missing last night, whether it be from the manager, whether it be from, the vast majority of them players were not good enough last night. Players who you'd like to think we could call upon, and get us out the shit. I thought it was one of Ndai's quieter games. I'm starting to see what Millsy said to us, his thoughts on Tim Ibrahim, and he's not good enough. Charlie Alcaraz, yes, he played on the right, which was a bad move by the manager, but listen, he hasn't done nothing since he signed permanent. I just think it was a bad day at the office, but it's the manner of it which worries me, because we're going to play a Brighton team who are probably better than Leeds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the stats, and to be honest, they don't read pretty. And none of that matters. None of the stats matters, because we all saw the game. Everyone watched the game. Everyone saw how poor we were start to finish. So it's irrelevant. But the big thing for me, John, and you mentioned it at the start. Me and you, it was like a baptism of fire at one point. Me and you, about our opinions, whether we were right, whether we were wrong, up and down, player signings, where our heads at, and all sorts of stuff. Me and you, we even bickered, etc., etc., etc. But the fundamentals were, we both knew that if we didn't get players in the door, we wouldn't be ready for the season. And we all knew that if we just lose our pre-season games and we don't turn up and we have poor games, we were going to take that into the Premier League. And people can say, Mike, it's about fitness. It's about, making sure that you can play the way and the team will support each other. Everton haven't won their first game of the season in the last 4 years. And all of those times we've had a shocking pre-season. All of those times we haven't been ready going into the season. So all those people that said it's just about training, it's just about fitness, it doesn't matter until the season starts, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but based on the evidence I saw last night, it's not right. It's certainly not right. You're right. I felt a little bit. I felt a little bit sorry for Iliman and Jai last night, because he was trying to get on the ball and make things happen. But I mean, this is no disrespect, but Beto next to him last night was clueless. So he had no one to play off, and every time the ball went into midfield, it went backwards. It was so poor how many times Drewsbury Hall or Ghana guy just pass the ball backwards. Our best attacking option was Michael Keane playing a long field ball to Jake O'Brien. I mean, I'm sorry, like if that is where Everton are gearing up for this season, then we've got some significant issues. And I'll go even one step further than that, John, if you don't mind. But the whole team last night looked like a bunch of strangers. And that's the one thing I can say. Somebody said to me, how was the performance last night? Like, how was it? Did you enjoy it? Was the game? What was the atmosphere like? And I was like, you know what? The Leeds fans were up for it. Can't fault them. I predict a riot, all of that at the end. Fair play. Fair play. First game back in the Premier League, Monday night, under the lights. No problem with that. But Everton, to go into a season that disjointed, we were like a sword with a cork on the end. We had Enjoy, we had Drewsbury Hall, we've got Grealish on the bench. I didn't see any of it last night. I didn't see any quality last night that made me go, yeah, that's brilliant.
Mate, I mean, also, for me, listen, I love David Moyes. I know you said that last night on your match reaction. You know, we were made up when he come back. But he's got to set up to win games. And I feel sometimes like David Moyes can set up too defensively. And whether that's down to the players he's got at his disposal, I don't know. We all know that squad is not good enough to progress this team to the next level, which is what we've been screaming and shouting out for since the end of last season. We've got the new owners. We've got a new setup when it comes to transfer dealings. And it just looks so disjointed. The players didn't look fit last night, in my opinion. And he played Charlie Alcaraz on the right, which, in my opinion, he probably could have started with Jack Grealish, even put a McNeil in, just so we've got some balance if he plays Iliman and Dye on the right-hand side. That's where he plays for Senegal. But the team is so lopsided because we're screaming out, our right-hand side, mate, must be one of the worst in the Premier League. It's so poor. But for us, I mean, even Beto, mate, I can't believe he completed the full game. Now, he's not a Premier League footballer, mate. And I know people are going to drop in the comments and go, well, you know, he scored 11 goals last season. Yes, he scored 5 and 5. He had a purple patch. Whether we're playing to his strengths or not, a centre forward in the Premier League should be able to trap a ball. He should be able to control the ball with his chest. He should be able to hold the ball up to bring other players into it. And I also want to point out Jordan Pickford. I thought last night how many times he either went long with the ball and it comes to nothing, because 9 times out of 10 it was coming back to us, or when he didn't boot it long, he was using James Garner, who was a left back who hasn't got a left foot. Now listen, that's not on James Garner that he got asked to play there. And I never thought I'd say that, and you said it early on and I agreed with you. James Garner in the middle of the park last night, it probably wouldn't have looked as bad. He could have put Dwight McNeil at left back. He's got a left foot. He played there a couple of times for Burnley. It's just putting players in their right positions. And when you've got a central midfielder who hasn't got a left foot, playing at left back, and you've got Tim Ibrahim, will not be a Premier League footballer as long as I've got a hole in my arse. And you've got Charlie Alcaraz, who couldn't stay on his feet. Every time the ball come to him, he was falling over, offered us nothing. And listen, these players got played there by this manager. But a Premier League footballer, going back to Beto, mate, should be able to control the ball. I've got better ball control than Beto. He's not good enough. And I said to you before, when you look at this squad of players now, and we've been screaming about bringing better quality and to take this club to the next level and push us up the league and finish in the top half of the table minimum. When you've got players, mate, like a James Garner playing at left back, you've got a Tim Ibrahim in the middle, you've got a Charlie Alcaraz, you've got Beto who can't do jack shit, then you're not going to go to the next level with them players. It's got to be a busy next 2 weeks for this club, mate. Whether it's down to David Moyes, who's making these final decisions on players coming in, or whether it's this new transfer setup that we've got, I think it's, you know, abundantly obvious. And I said this 10 days ago on this channel. This new transfer committee that this football club have got are not all pulling in the same direction. And that is a spell for disaster for me, because it's happened at Liverpool. Liverpool have had a transfer committee. They haven't got that transfer committee as much now. Look at the signings they've done in the summer. They've bought some shit in the past because they weren't pulling in the same direction. And for the amount of players that we need to be bringing into this football club and the lack of quality that we've got at this football club, we need all these transfer fellas, whoever's dealing with it, to be pulling in the same direction. Whether the last word ends with David Moyes, we don't know that, because we've lost the title of director of football. It's, you know, it's well known that David Moyes has been given more say on transfers, but they've all got to agree on it. And it just seems at the minute, because it's taken that long to get a right back in, it's taken that long to get a right winger in, it's taken that long to get a number 6 in. I just don't think they're agreeing on anything at the minute, mate.
It's very concerning, and the whole team. We've been picked apart during this transfer window. Us as a channel, us as individuals, and we've had some stick. I mean, at times we've had abuse, and everything I saw last night. It sounds awful, but it was almost like if I could see it, if you could see it, what was going on, and the physicality in midfield. Somebody replied back to my comment saying, "Oh yeah, Grealish is strong. Garner Guy is strong. Keenan Juice Hall is strong." I don't think we won a header in the middle of the park because of that stack that they signed. We didn't win a header when the ball went long to Beto. I think he won one header in about 15 or 20. He trapped one ball, and even that was lucky because he bounced off his thigh. The whole performance last night was so below par that you can talk about the penalty decision, and we will, mate. We'll talk about the penalty decision in a minute. But the whole performance was awful, and there's no getting around that. There's no hiding behind it. It was glaringly obvious to see, and whether that was a deliberate act, whether it was the players just weren't ready, weren't comfortable. You've gone into a game against a newly promoted side, and you've put in a performance like that. I hope the players on that coach on the way home were embarrassed. I hope they were embarrassed because there was 3,000 passionate Evertonians last night who sang the heart out as we always do, and we did everything we could to be support the team. I will make one comment in a moment, but all in all, we did our best last night to support that football team. And they really let us down. And you're right, Garner at left back, we missed his legs in midfield. I can't believe I'm saying that. Tim Ibrahima was awful. I thought Garner Guy, I didn't think he had a good game. I don't think any of them actually had a decent game, apart from maybe Michael Keane, and he looked ropey at the start and then sort of come into it. I thought Michael Keane did all right. But yeah, mate, it was a really, really poor showing, and the balance was off. The team was off. The substitutions, the lack of substitutions. 87th minute, Barry comes on that pitch, and I'm telling you now, I could have subbed Beto after 20 minutes. Awful. So yeah, the two points I want to make just before we talk about the penalty, is there was a minute's silence last night for Diogo and Andre Silva and Diogo Jota. There was a minute's silence before the game, and some Everton fans at the back of the stand were singing Everton songs. I thought that was an absolute disgrace. Our own fans told them to shush, but it happened, and I'm certainly not proud of that at all. There was a few Leeds fans that clapped, but I think they were clapping because they thought it was going to be a minute applause rather than a minute silence. So no qualms over that. But to the Evertonians that sang Everton, Everton, Everton during that minute silence, that's a disgrace. That is fundamentally a disgrace, and I don't agree with that. The other thing I just want to briefly mention is me and John, bit of banter last night. We wrote a little song about Jack Grealish, and we sang it, and we just put it out on Instagram and Twitter. Literally banter between friends, just to try and get us all bouncing a little bit. Make a bit of a clown of ourselves on the excitement of you guys. Really, some of the abuse me and John got on Twitter specifically was nothing short of a disgrace, to the point where I deleted the post, because you're going into a game, you're standing outside Ellen Road, and all you're getting is pelters for just having a laugh and a joke with your mate and trying to share positivity. So if you were one of those Evertonians and you watch this channel, don't. And when I find out who you are and you put your name in the comments and you're like, "Hi Mike, hi John, thank you for watching and all this," but yet you'll be happy to abuse us on Twitter, you'll be blocked on here and on Twitter because you're an absolute disgrace. So I'll lay it out like that. There's a few things I'm not happy about at the minute with what is going on, both in Everton and some of the things around the channel. But ordinarily, it's really important that we remember that people are people. Me and John, literally, we don't do this for the money, because trust me, we don't earn anywhere near enough. The facts are, we do this to simply support and demonstrate and give our opinions. I set this channel up 7-8 years ago to be able to talk about Everton to fellow fans, and to sit there and feel like you've got the bottle to be able to say anything to either me or John. I think you've got some balls on you, to be frank.
But the thing is, mate, they don't say it straight to us because they put it in the comments. You know, we've never had people coming up to us giving us shit, whether it be outside Goodison, whether it be in Flyers or any bar that we've been in. You know, they won't say it to us. I mean, I went in the Segura yesterday, mate, and the day got off to a brilliant start. 3 or 4 people, I was outside on the phone, and they let on, and I'd never seen these people before. I actually went for a pee, and when we were coming out the toilet, a lad asked for a picture. They're the sort of people who we want following us. They're the sort of people who we do this for. So whoever it was, and Michael's hit the nail on the head, don't put it in the comments. If you have a problem with me and Michael, we always tell people where we're going to be. Come and see us. Don't hide behind a keyboard. We're not scared of you. And listen, that's not a shout out for a fight, because I'm not a fighter. Michael's not a fighter. But whatever problem you've got with us, approach us with it instead of putting in the comments. And that's it. Or don't put anything, because social media is a big place, but it can also be a small place. If we really want to find out who that was, and we can find out if they watch this channel and put them in the comments where they'll blow smoke up our ass, but because me and Michael had a little bit of laugh, they have a dig at us. Nah, you're not for us, and you don't represent Everton fans, in my opinion. And adding to the Diogo Jota things, the Everton fans who've done that, I don't condone anything like that. It doesn't matter who these players played for, whether it be Liverpool or not. We don't condone shit like that. You know, that is 2 young lads who have lost their life. Their mum and dad lost their 2 sons in the same car accident. So for anyone who clapped not clapped, but sang in that minute silence last night, you're an absolute disgrace, and you're in the minority of Everton fans who would do something like that, because the majority of us are spot-on fans, but there's always 1 or 2 dickheads who try and ruin it and tarnish our club because they've done something like that. So, again, if you watch this channel, unsubscribe, because I haven't got the time of day in me to listen to shit like that when we're respecting 2 young lads who lost their lives.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about the penalty decision, because I'm just going to call it as I've seen it. I've now watched it back. I spoke about it in the reaction last night, which, by the way, the Leeds fans that have commented on that video, thank you ever so much for your support and your love. There's not been a negative comment towards me or Everton fans. So, yeah, good luck to the rest of the season, Leeds fans. That penalty decision is up where, in my opinion, is up there with one of the worst VAR decisions I've seen so far. And I know me and you may have slightly different opinions on it, but for me, even if he's leaning towards the ball, where's he meant to put his arm? Like, it's attached to his body. So I don't, as a centre half, we would be absolutely fuming if our centre half was running out and getting their body in front of the ball.
Yeah.
And he's done it last night. He's leaned into it. He's caught his arm. I'm sorry. I just, bearing in mind, right, and I hate to call this out, but bearing in mind last week we saw no sending off or no free kick or no red card or whatever against, I think it was a Bournemouth player, or it might have been a Crystal Palace player, when the ball, they're going through, it hit his arm, and he didn't get sent off, and that was against Liverpool. So the inconsistency in these handballs, in these decisions, are a joke. And we've seen 4 or 5 terrible VAR decisions this weekend. But that one, for me, absolutely took the biscuit. So, look, we didn't deserve anything out of that game. And we would have been lucky to get a point. But to lose by a penalty like that, which, by the way, Jordan almost saved, is a disgrace.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's this referee. I think, didn't you say something today where he's refereed 10 games and there's been 10 contentious decisions.
So out of 10 games, we've lost 9, won 1, and there's been something like 8 contentious decisions in all of them.
With this referee.
Yeah.
It's a stupid penalty, and whether he's leaning into or not, I've watched it back since me and you spoke on the phone, and unless he can pull his arm out for a couple of seconds and pull his arm off his body and then attach it again, where's he supposed to put his arm? Now, as far as I'm concerned, the rules for penalty is if your hand's away from your body. His hand wasn't away from his body. He hasn't moved his hands towards the ball. So what is James Tarkowski supposed to do? And listen, again, there's no consistency with these referees. And it seems to me, the better the referee and the bigger profile name the referee has, the worse decisions they're making. You get, newly promoted referees who come into the Premier League, they don't make mistakes like that. And for me, it's the 8 out of 10 games that he's refereed. We've lost 9 of them and won 1. And there's been 8 contentious decisions. If I was Everton, and I said this to you before, we need to be ballsy. We've asked for this for years from this club. Approach the PGMOL, go to the FA, go to the Premier League and say, look, we don't want him refereeing any more of our games until he's looked into. And Everton need to put a reel of all the decisions that he's got against us and go to them and go, look at that. Have a look at them decisions that he hasn't given us or he's given against us. And we don't want him refereeing any more of our games. But we're too quiet as a club, Michael. And again, if we're going to be this new big thing now with all these new owners and all these people who are coming into the club, and we need to do something like that to stand up to Chris Kavanagh and any other referee that for some strange reason always gives decisions against Everton. Everton as a football club now need to stand up and do something about it.
I can't. I've got nothing. It sounds awful, but I've got literally 0 to add. But I actually think the issue's deeper because, the inconsistency in this league, it fits whatever narrative people want, and I'll give you an example of that. I think it was a Community Shield game I'm talking about, where it was Liverpool and Crystal Palace, and am I right in saying that, John? It's the handball. It flicked his arm and it stopped Liverpool getting away. I think.
No, wasn't that the first game of the season on Friday night?
It might have been.
I think Ekatike sort of miscontrolled the ball, but he would have ran onto it, and I think it was the Bournemouth player who hits his arm.
Yeah.
But then he also tries to grab at it again. And I've seen it before. And he actually touches it for the second time with his fingers. Now, whether that's Liverpool or not, I'm not asked. We're more on about these referees these days are making so many mistakes with blatant handballs. And again, he should have been sent off for me, the Bournemouth player, in my opinion. If he doesn't do that, Ekatike straight through on goal, stops a goal-scoring decision. But as I say, it hits him on the arm. But as the ball bounces up, he grabs at it as well, and it hits the end of his fingers because the ball turns from the way it was moving. So he catches it twice. There's just no consistency with referees. And, we talk about VAR ruining the game, Michael. Referees have done their best to ruin football for years now, mate, and they're succeeding. You've got VAR, which is a load of shit, and you've got referees who are a load of shit as well. So with the referees and the VAR, it's taken the love and the enjoyment out of football, because nearly every game, whether it be Everton, whether it be Liverpool, anybody, you're getting contentious decisions every week now, which referees and VAR are not getting right.
Yeah, it's actually appalling. It's actually appalling, and there is only a matter of time, surely, before it affects the bigger picture. If you get what I mean, it affects the footballing landscape, or fans have had enough. And I actually put on Twitter, I'm going to read what I tweeted, but I basically put, The more I see this handball, the more it infuriates me. Week in, week out, you see horrendous decisions given to either fit specific narratives or simply down to complete incompetence. Either way, absolutely nobody holds the league and the referees accountable. They're not asked to do, you don't hear the voice in their ear. You don't hear Stockley Park talking about the decisions, because I would love to know what was said last night while they were making that James Tarkowski decision. I would love to know what they are saying to each other on every single event, because these people, whether they like it or not, are either trained or made decisions, or somebody is telling them to be incompetent and to not do their job. And it doesn't affect 11 players on that pitch and the 7 substitutes and the league position and the £2 million you get per position and whatever. It affects thousands of fans countrywide. We could have left Elland Road last night going, that was awful. At least we got out of there with a point. But instead, I got in my car. I had a 3.5 hour drive home, plus I had to charge. And I sat there going, I can't believe he's give that penalty. I can't believe he's give that penalty. And the more I look at it, the more I think it fits a narrative, doesn't it? It fits a narrative. Leeds Monday night under the lights, TV viewing. Oh, and I'm not saying Leeds are responsible for that, by the way, but there has got to be something in football at some level where decisions are being played out, because it just doesn't. Some of these decisions at this point do not make sense to me anymore.
Do you know the Crystal Palace goal the other day where Eze scored the free kick? And it's as if they magic this new rule about whether it was a defender moved so close to the strike or whatever it was. Yeah. But in that game, you heard the referee speaking over the speakers of why the goal had been disallowed. So why is it happening in some games, but it's not happening in ours? Like, why didn't we hear last night from the referee over the PA system in Elland Road why the penalty had been given? You can't just do it for the odd game here and there. You've got to do that in every Premier League game every week, and not just every now and again or when it suits their narrative, because they know that they've done Everton over, and that's why it didn't get spoke about on the speaker, because how were they going to explain it? So if you're going to do it for one game, you've got to do it for the lot, or don't do it for any.
And in the VAR era, Everton have been awarded the least amount of penalties per season than any other club.
How many have been given against us?
I don't know, but it's a disgrace. And look, these decisions, right? They date back.
They don't even try to hide them anymore, though, mate, do they?
No, they don't. But I've had enough of it, to be frank, and I think this season something has to happen. Now, I don't know what that is yet. I don't know what a measly Mike can do, but I'm telling you now, something's got to happen. Something's got to happen, because
it's got to give, hasn't it?
The clubs haven't got the bottle to do it, so I think it's about time the fans did. And I think we really need to make it known. You know, I know there was Everton fans that went down to the Premier League headquarters and protested when the points deduction. But I think actually we need to do it from all clubs. I think all clubs need to stand together and actually do this. And, you know, if you are a club that feel that you don't need to do that, then that probably speaks volumes about the amount of VAR decisions that go in your favour, to be frank. So, yeah, that's sort of where my head's at the minute. It's angry, to be honest, John. It's in an angry, clouded state of mind. But you'll be pleased to know that I will still be there for Brighton on Sunday, and we still will be at Flyers, who are now officially sponsoring us for the entire season. So make sure you all come down and join me and John in Flyers. You'll be pleased to know that my wife will also be there with me. So, you know, all those people that say I'm punching, well, you can say it to mine and her face then. Yeah. John, you got anything else to finish with, mate?
No, mate. Just again, I'll go back to what I said at the video. I know you've just said you're angry, and and again, a defeat, but it's the manner which we were defeated, and it's the manner which Everton sort of basically not put a performance in last night, mate. And I think Leeds probably did deserve to win on the balance of play, but it was just the way they got the 3 points, which is pissing me and you off.
Royally. Right. We will leave it there. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Up the toughies. There may be a video tomorrow. There may not be a video tomorrow. Really does depend on if Everton are going to pull their finger out and sign a right winger and a right back, which would be nice. And some physicality in midfield would also be great. A new centre forward, and I suspect we could probably do with just another winger in general. Really, to be honest, just to mix it up and spice it up when the going gets tough. Do you get what I mean?
I think we need two wingers. I think we need two right wingers, mate. Whether one be on a loan and whether we spend money on one, but you're right, we need a right back for cover, we need a left back for cover. It doesn't look like the young kid's going to be ready. And it'll be interesting to see where Asnu was last night. I don't know whether he was injured or he wasn't included in the matchday squad, which if he wasn't, whether he's not ready for the Premier League or not, he still should have been in and around the squad. Noah Mikalenko was not there, and we had to play a central midfielder who's got no left foot at left back. So that's on you, Mr. Moyes, if Asnu was fit.
There you go. As simple as that. Right. Up the toughies. See you soon. Peace.